The Myers-Briggs personality type ISFP, which stands for Introversion I, Sensing S, Feeling F, and Perception P, is nicknamed the Adventurer. That's not because this type is an adrenaline junkie, but actually because they're creative, original, and open-minded, and as a result are great at bringing unique ideas to the table. However, like any personality type, the ISFP also has its weaknesses. It may surprise you to learn that some of these weaknesses can actually affect the ISFP's health. In today's video, we're going to go over why ISFPs in particular are prone to weaker immune systems. It should be noted that this video is only intended to share information we analyzed on the topic and may not apply to everyone. If you want to know more about this topic, you should do your own research and talk to a professional. Number 1. They're easily stressed. ISFPs tend to live in the moment and are a go-with-the-flow personality type who thrives on flexibility. However, this doesn't always align with modern society. And when this core personality trait is challenged, an ISFP can quickly become stressed. For instance, if they start a new job that demands them to stick to a strict schedule and defies their desire to be in the moment, they could become resentful and overwhelmed. You might be wondering how this relates to ISFPs having a weaker immune system. Well, science tells us that stress can actually reduce the body's ability to fight off diseases and infections. This is because when we're stressed, our bodies begin producing more cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone responsible for suppressing functions that aren't needed if you find yourself in an emergency fight or flight situation. For instance, cortisol suppresses your digestive system, because if you're trying to outrun an enemy, your body doesn't need to waste energy digesting your latest meal. However, cortisol also curbs your immune function by reducing your number of white blood cells, which help fight off foreign bacteria and viruses, and harming your body's anti-inflammatory process. Number 2, they are socially isolated. If you've ever met an ISFP, or maybe you're one yourself, you probably noticed that they were highly independent. They may have taken pride in their independence by skirting the rules or challenging the status quo. And while this is why ISFPs can be such creative, unique thinkers, their independence doesn't always lead to the result they're looking for. Because ISFPs value thinking outside the box, they are often drawn to career paths like entrepreneurship or freelance work. These careers can be quite lonely, however, as they often involve being self-sufficient. Over time, this can cause an ISFP to become socially isolated. And while they are naturally introverted, ISFPs still crave time with others. They have a genuine desire to connect with humans on a deep level and are incredibly understanding and empathetic. But when their desire for independence, like in their choice of careers, is carried out at the expense of developing and nurturing relationships, the result is that ISFPs begin to feel socially isolated from others. This isn't great news for ISFPs' health. Scientists have pinpointed that being socially connected is one of the most important factors in staying healthy. Furthermore, those who are socially connected to friends, family, colleagues, or their larger community actually live longer than those who feel lonely. This is because people who experience frequent loneliness are more often in the fight or flight state that we talked about earlier, which can lead to decreased immunity. Number 3, they're more prone to anxiety. Another way in which an ISFP's personality results in a weaker immune system stems from their unpredictability and spontaneity. This personality type enjoys trying new things, whether that's traveling to a new country or exploring a creative experience like music or art. And while trying new things and being open to the world is certainly a positive trait, the flip side of this characteristic isn't always beneficial. Because of their spontaneous nature, ISFPs have a hard time planning. We mentioned that they like to live in the moment, and that's certainly the case. However, the dark side of this is that ISFPs can often find themselves filled with chaos and disorder. This can lead to negative consequences when it comes to their finances, romantic relationships, or careers, because they don't always think things through long term. The result of all this is that ISFPs may suffer from anxiety as they try to rectify their desire for freedom with the realities of the real world, like thinking more long term. And if you didn't already guess it, the anxiety associated with this can cause a weakened immune system in an ISFP who experiences frequent, ongoing anxiety. The reason for this, again, goes back to stress hormones like cortisol. Having chronic anxiety can cause the release of these hormones, which, as we saw earlier, reduces immune function and lowers the body's chances of fighting off infections. Over time, this can lead to chronic inflammation, which means that your body starts damaging its healthy cells, tissues, and organs. If an ISFP's immune system isn't in check, this can lead to the development of certain diseases and chronic illnesses. Number 4, they have fluctuating self-esteem. As we've just seen, ISFPs are incredibly sensitive to the world around them and place a lot of weight on their relationships with others. This results in them being empathetic individuals who are highly in tune with their internal and external worlds, but it also means that they're more prone to feelings of fluctuating self-esteem. Additionally, ISFPs have strong values and opinions, but if someone they care deeply about questions or disagrees with their values, their self-esteem can suffer. Over time, this can lead to ISFPs to feelings of depression. Depression not only increases the production of stress hormones, but it can also cause chronic inflammation. Depression can also deform the structure of immune cells, which essentially renders them ineffective from effectively protecting the body from disease. Furthermore, even if an ISFP doesn't have depression, even just experiencing negative emotions can lead them to have a weakened immune system. In fact, research shows that a negative mood can increase inflammation in the body. A study published in the journal Brain, Behavior, and Immunity, for instance, found that when study participants had negative moods for extended periods of time, they had more biomarkers of inflammation in their blood. This inflammation can in turn lead to reduced immune function. Number 5, they're overly sensitive. ISFPs are sensitive personality types and often fall into the category of being highly sensitive people, or those who are more reactive to their external environment. A highly sensitive person, for instance, is more affected by the emotions of others and sensory triggers like loud noises or potent smells. As a result, they often experience more stress in certain environments like loud concerts or a crowded room. In addition, ISFPs are emotional. They are in tune with their own emotions and are empathetic, allowing them to feel the emotions of others. This is primarily due to their dominant function being their feeling function, which means that they see the world in terms of their emotions and make decisions based on how they're feeling, not how they're thinking. To ISFPs, their emotions represent the truth of a situation. It can be very hard for an ISFP then when others, especially those they are close to, criticize their feelings or perspectives. This can cause them to feel hurt and stressed as they feel that their personality and core values are under attack. As a result, whether they're experiencing stress because they're a highly sensitive person reacting to their environment or because of the weight they put on their emotional experience, the sensitivity of ISFPs can lead to negative consequences over time. In particular, this can lead ISFPs to have weaker immune systems. Number 6, they're overly competitive. Introverted Myers-Briggs types often get stereotyped as being bookworms and the quiet ones in the room, and aren't usually thought of as being very competitive. However, this isn't always the case. ISFPs generally fall into two boats here. Some prefer to avoid the conflict that comes with competition and are quick to de-escalate things when they get tense. However, other ISFPs, being the adventurer type, actually enjoy competitions and conflict. This is especially the case when they feel that their emotions or beliefs are being challenged, as this activates their T, which is the extroverted thinking function. And while a bit of healthy competition isn't a bad thing, being too competitive can actually lead to unwanted consequences, and even to health consequences. This is particularly true if they struggle with aggression or impatience, and while not directly related to immune health, studies have shown that those with personality qualities like aggression and impatience have an increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Of course, this does not only apply to ISFPs, they are just who we are focusing on today. What about why INFJs are so lonely? Watch this video and let us know how we did.